What is going on, everybody? It's Jamie, and welcome to the channel Thrift Onfire. Today, we're going to do an update on the antique booth. This is my first full year, so I've got 12 months in at the booth. We're going to talk about the numbers and break everything down as much as we possibly can. The only place where it gets a little bit more muddy is cost of goods, and we'll explain that when we get that far in the video. If you're wondering why I started to sell locally at an antique booth, obviously, if you've watched this channel, I'm selling things online, places like eBay, Poshmark, Depop, and at one point Etsy. Well, I got kicked off of Etsy, so this was sort of to supplement the money that I was making from Etsy. I looked back at the prior year and I had made about $6,000 total on Etsy, and that, over the last few years that I had sold on Etsy, that money has went up and down depending on a lot of different things. But yeah, I was surprised to look back and see that I made that much on Etsy. So that was a good amount of money that I was trying to replace. Was I able to do it with just the booth? I'm going to tell you right now, it didn't come close to Etsy, but I'll let you know how much or how close we did get to that number, and what my plan is going forward, and if I want to change anything up. Now, the first thing we have to address is rent, and it's the most expensive part and probably the biggest reason people might get turned off from doing this, because if you're not successful enough to pay your rent, you're just losing money all the time. Okay, for me personally, it's $150 plus HST, so I'm paying $169.50 every single month just to sell here, okay? That winds up being $2,034 for the year, so we're starting off in the red if you think of it that way. The other cost of this is obviously a commission. There's a 10% commission on everything that you sell. And then for me personally, I'm about 20 minutes away from the location. So anytime I travel back and forth, there's gas money and time that, we could calculate all into this as well if you wanted to. But really, rent, and I think the 10% commission is fair. And I think that's fair in general, just because, when you sell anywhere, eBay, Poshmark, Depop, all these places are taking a commission on the sale as well. They're just not charging you the rent, but they're hosting a website for people to come through, where this is a physical store that has costs. That's why we're paying rent, right? The other thing that's good here is the owner is collecting HST, and they're submitting it on your behalf. So when you get your payout for whatever you sell for the month, it winds up being basically your income, depending on how you look at it, right? If you're reinvesting that money, it maybe it's not income, but that is your money to do with what you want. Now let's talk about how much profit we actually made here, okay? So let's just say over 12 months, I made $4,579. That's my actual payout. So that's with the 10% commission removed. I still have to pay rent on top of that. So if we remove the $2,034 for rent, it winds up being $2,545 that I made over the past year at this location. Okay, so if I didn't pay rent, I'm still about $1,500 short of the $6,000 that I was trying to recoup. The rent certainly dipped into that a ton, and I had up and down months for sure. My first month was the lowest month. It was $156. Then it picked up to over $300. By month 4, I was doing $450. By month 5, which is my best month, I did $625, and at that time I was talking to you guys, and I was even talking to my buddy Scott when he was doing his Sunday night show. I was really trying to get to $1,000 a month. However, from that $600 month, I was on a bit of a decline. Okay, we did about a $400 a month, and then another $400 a month, then a $350 a month, and then a $400, a $400, a $300, and a $350. And that's where my average a month wound up being $381, when all was said and done. So I made about $2,500 total. Let's just take a look at our best month here. So I have a printout. I'm just going to tell you the things that were over $20. So $65 for a Montreal Canadiens jersey. It looks like a vintage Plains t-shirt sold for $20. Michael Jordan jersey, $65. A little mini red tool chest, $20. $50 for a Voltron toy set that all went together. I picked that up in a garage sale video. I was excited about it. I didn't list it online because I just felt like maybe condition-wise it wasn't up to snuff to get full value. So $50 in my booth, and it was a cool display item there as well. What else we got here? It looks like a Camaro kit for $29 for this Kellogg's plate. Dinnerware plate, it was vintage, and a surf style jacket for $45. All the rest of my sales are like $4, $5, $6. I see some $8 sales, a few $10 sales. All those littler ones though do add up, and I have so little money into them as well that's really, I think, kind of personally, that's my goal going forward. It's a lot of more of the little sales. It doesn't seem like that's where, the profit is going to be, but for me here, this is really what is selling, is the little kind of trinkety items. I know it'd be nice if I could sell nothing but $20 and $60 and $85 items, but for me, they're just, when I look through the months, all of my sales are really the small little, niche pickup items like DVDs, CDs, small toys, collectibles, books, things like that seem to be selling a lot more. The lower value stuff and the few, higher end stuff, if you even consider $20 to $60 higher end, are very few and far between for me. Now, the other thing's obviously going to be cost of goods. Now, I think when I started out, I was taking a lot more of my eBay inventory and throwing it in there and trying to mix it up. And then when I noticed that stuff wasn't really selling there, but a lot of the small stuffs like pins, CDs, DVDs, small collectibles, just little things people can pick up that are inexpensive. Those are the things that really seem to sell. I'm not saying every antique booth is like that, and this one, everyone has a different amount of traffic or maybe a different crowd that comes through. This one, for whatever reason, that's the stuff that is selling. So I've kind of pulled back on taking higher end stuff there because I know I can flip it online anyway for decent profit. And it's a lot of this more like little unique stuff that maybe I wouldn't sell online, but I can get a few dollars for it here or there. And I come across it quite often at the Goodwill bins or garage sales, or if I'm doing like a big bulk buy and I have all this little stuff that I don't know what to do with. It seems to be the perfect place to get rid of it. Am I getting rich here? Obviously not. It is a unique place to move some different inventory. I think if you want to do it in the fashion that I'm doing it, you have to expect that it's going to be more casual or hobby style. My buddy Scott, from the Scott Sell Stuff show, he does very well at his booth. I have another couple of friends who go to, who have booths in a different location, who do well, like much better than me. Like $1,000 a month is a bad month for them. And, I couldn't get there in my first year. But I don't know how much. It's not that I don't want to be at the $1,000 level. I just know, for me personally, online is where I'm making most of my money. And this is just sort of, I would almost say for me, it feels a little bit more flea markety than an antique booth. And that's just my booth. There's lots of stuff in that antique mall that are legitimate antiques. I don't know how those booths are doing, but what's selling for me at this particular location is that small kind of tchotchke type stuff. So I'm going to kind of focus on that this year, see if I can do better. The only thing I think that will be different this year is I really tried hard for a full year to do the best I could and leave, no questions unturned about how much time I was spending at the booth. I might dial that back a little bit. Right now I go once a week. When they open at the beginning of the week, I'm there. Sometimes I'll go a second time closer to the weekend just to move stuff around. I might scale it back and go twice. Okay, I'm not that far away, so I can always go whenever I want, but I just might put the obligation on myself that I need to go beginning of the month, pay rent, do a big switch over, and then obviously middle of the month usually is when we get paid. So I'll do that, get everything back in its place where it needs to go, do another big switch over, add some new stuff, and just keep in mind that that's the pattern that I want to continue. If I decide to go on a different day to do something, that's fine, but I'm not going to put the same pressure to go every week the same way. I'll just build up inventory and then go and do a big thing all at once. And it might be just like feel a little bit more casual for me as well. I really enjoy it. If I didn't enjoy it at this point, I probably would just say, you know what, there's not a lot of money to be made, but it is fun, and I like moving this small stuff out, and I like the interaction, with the community there. The owner's a really nice guy, so that really helps too. And overall, I think it is a positive experience. I just couldn't get to the point where it's replacing my Etsy income, but we supplemented already this past year with Depop. Depop hasn't been crazy good for me, but it's definitely been extra money. I've really pushed harder selling stuff on Marketplace, which you guys don't see that on the channel. I don't really promote that a ton. But I do sell quite a bit of local as well. So overall, I would say the booth is a positive experience. Did I make a killing? Absolutely not. Did I lose any money? I don't think so. Even if we removed cost of goods, even if I spent $500 total, if I look at this here, yeah, I'd still be making over the year $2,000. Like I said, by no means is this a full-time income. This is sort of supplement money, fun money, if you will, which, you know, obviously is taxable. This is all taxable money we're talking about here, but, you know, it is still some extra money that I wouldn't have with these smaller items that I probably would just donate or not even look at in the first place. All right, let me know what you thought of this video. You know, it's kind of weird sometimes to share numbers like this because, you know, I don't know, some people think like you probably made $10,000. Some people probably think you lost money doing this. And, you know, this is just me being honest. I made a couple $1,000s at the end of the year doing this. And this is just my antique booth. Obviously, my other platforms like eBay is my #1 platform. That's where I'm making the most money for sure. And then Poshmark and Depop. And then probably Facebook Marketplace is above this as well. So this is sort of still, even though it is bottom tier for me, I still think it's a good place for me to spend some time and get rid of some unique income or unique items. And the other thing is things that haven't sold in the booth, I've been just pushing through a local auction. You know, we're going to talk about that later on this channel at some point. I have got back my first chunk of stuff that I sent there. And, you know, I did okay. I was pretty happy with the money that I got back. And, you know, it was an alternate to donating some stuff. So, you know, it just really depends on how much time you want to put into stuff like this. I think we're going to end this one right here, though. If you guys like videos like this one, please give it a big thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing for more content. We'll see you guys soon.